Greetings. Welcome to another series of weekly devotionals where we take a look at one of the lectionary readings and offer some thoughts for reflection and meditation. This week we're going to take a look at a passage in one of the epistles, Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. And he deals with this passage with the grace of God, something that Paul talks a lot about. I remember a eulogy that I did for my Aunt Stella many years ago. And I said in the eulogy that she was for me the embodiment of the word grace. And I thought about that eulogy because I thought to myself, what did I really mean by that? We have different ways of thinking about grace, and it's one of those, I think, kind of elusive terms in the lexicon of the Christian language. Usually we think of it as undeserved favor or privilege, and most of the time I would suggest we think of it as intrinsically connected to our idea of salvation. We are, as Reformed Christians, we are saved not by the things we do, but we are saved simply by the grace of God and our faith in that grace. And I think when we think of grace in that way, we think of it primarily as something that we receive as individuals, that is connected to our individual salvation. But for Paul, his definition of grace is a little bit more expansive. For Paul, grace is nothing less than the life-giving power of God. And as one scholar suggests in his review of this epistle passage, the grace of God has its origins in God, that life-giving power, but it is channeled through a community of believers and given to places of need in the world. And this way of thinking about grace, I think, is much less individualistic, but more centered in the community. And it's also less about getting what we receive from God and more about giving, channeling the life-giving power of God to those who are in need, which is a different way, I think, of thinking about grace. So my thought for today is, do we know people or places or situations that might be in need of a little life-giving power, the life-giving power of God? Is there someone we know that could use a little bit of grace? Amen.